Hey, what's up, Street Talks? This is the Eric Kim from the Eric Kim Street Photography blog. Been kind of a while since I did a video, so just wanted to get you guys up to date with some of my experiences in Bombay and India, some crazy things that have happened in Hong Kong. And also just played with a whole bunch of new cameras today. I played with the new Fujifilm X100s and the new Leica M, and I just wanted to talk about some things. And yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, I was in Bombay or Mumbai for about 10 days. I taught about 3 workshops there, and it was just an awesome time. A special thanks to KP, who's the founder of Indian Street Photography Collective, That's Life. He was able to just organize all the workshops for me, and is an incredibly talented photographer, and did a ton of shooting there. And for those of you guys who've never been to India, it's really like a street photographer's paradise. People in India are so friendly, like no one really cares if you take their photograph, and so when you're photographing them, everyone just smiles, and people are very warm and generous there. And traveling in India just tends to be a lot cheaper than traveling to other places in the world. And so, that's nice. And I feel like every time I go to India, I kind of have some sort of spiritual awakening or something like that, because a lot of it is, I think, just the generosity of the people. But the interesting thing about Mumbai is it's an incredibly expensive city to live in. I had no idea. For example, real estate there is actually more expensive than in New York City. So, you have a lot of people, you see Bentleys, Aston Martins just driving around all the place, and a lot of people just really, really, poverty, and to see that contrast, it's just, it makes me feel bad, because, here I am, I'm so blessed to be here in the world, but a lot of people just barely even have enough food to eat. And so, keeping that in mind has just made me realize how lucky I am to be in this world and to do what I love. Also, interestingly enough, the hotel I was at, there was no Wi-Fi, so at first I thought that it was going to be like a disaster. I wouldn't be able to update my blog, but it was actually kind of a good thing, because I had a lot of time to read a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of books on psychology, philosophy, cognitive science, and there was like a Starbucks down the road, and of course go there, just working on the blog and stuff like that. And yeah, shot a ton of film. For this trip, I I brought like 50 rolls of Portrait 400. So, some photos I've taken in India, I probably took around, maybe shot quite a bit, maybe like 20 photos there. And this is my last stash of Portrait 400. I have in one of those Uniqlo t-shirt bags, so hopefully going to be shooting more with this, and of course shooting mostly with Leica MP. And this is actually the second SF20 flash I'm working with, because the other one I shot with this so much the last year that the bulb blew out, so I guess I put it to good work. Still need to tape up this, but I haven't had time. Just shooting with a 35 Summicron. Lovely camera, I'm so glad I switched back to film. And actually one camera I've been shooting a lot with is the Contax T3. The thing I love about it is that, it's just super compact. It actually has a Carl Zeiss 35 2.8 sonar lens. It's incredibly sharp, great colors. It's, whenever I get the film scanned and processed, I can't really tell the difference between my photos on my Leica and this. So I think that's saying a lot. I guess, it's just as good, and it's just super easy to turn on. You just, turn it on here, and even it has, you could pre-focus it. So I just mostly use in P mode and autofocus, but if I'm on the streets, I could change it, and then I could pre-focus to about 1 or 1.1 meters, and I could toggle on the flash, and boom, it's a great companion. And so I see myself shooting with this a lot more, and it's just sometimes I don't have to think so much when I'm shooting. So yeah, I was in Bombay for about 10 days, flew over here in Hong Kong, and was really lucky to spend some time here with my buddy Jong. And so I'm staying at his place I'm here for around 2 weeks. The last week I've just been kind of relaxing, catching a little bit on work, doing a lot of writing and stuff like that. And also, of course, shooting a lot of street photography. One of the things about Hong Kong, it's a really cool place to shoot. It's so easy to get everywhere, and Hong Kong's a relatively small city, and with a bus or the MTR, which is the subway, you could go pretty much everywhere. There's a great variety of places to go from, of course the richer parts, but to the more like back alley parts. And one of the places I like to really shoot a lot is a place called TST, which is Shim Sa Choi. Sorry, my Chinese is not very good, but it's really close by, and I shot there a lot. All these different places. So I'll be sharing some of that. Also been, oh yeah, was able to play with 2 cameras today. Was the first one was the Fujifilm X100s, the new one, and the other one was the Leica M. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about the monochrome because I was playing with that a little bit too. So the new X100s, I'd have to say I'm pretty damn impressed. I mean, I think that the original X100 was a great camera. The only thing I really didn't like about it was, first of all, the autofocus for me was really slow, and also like sometimes it just would be a little buggy, like it wouldn't turn on or take photos. And the third thing is like camera, the menu is a mess. But other than that, I mean, it was a great camera. And with the X100s, they are claiming like has the fastest autofocus in the world or something like that. When I first heard about it, I was quite skeptical. I tested it out, but man, it is really fast. I'd say it's nearly as fast as the Olympus OMD, if not a little bit faster, as well as the fact that apparently it has a new sensor. So I mean, you do 100% zooming in the LCD. Image quality is great. Even high ISO performance, superb. I mean, the original X100 was great. I guess it's even better. And I generally like the optical viewfinder. I think it's much better, but I tested out the EVF and it's much faster. It's very good image quality, and I was actually quite impressed. But yeah, the thing that really blew me away was autofocus. Just locked focus incredibly quickly. And even shooting at night, I was testing photos of people moving at night, caught really quickly. And so, I mean, just at this moment of time, like having played with almost all the cameras, I would say for the price, it's probably going to be the best bang for the buck street photography camera, definitely, I think, of 2013. I mean, another camera I really liked was the Sony RX1, but it's like twice the price, like $2,800, and I think the X100S is about $1,300. And also, it doesn't have an optical viewfinder, blah, blah, blah. And sure, RX1 is full frame, but I mean, honestly, nowadays, like all the cameras are really good, and especially all the ASPC sensor cameras like the X100S. So yeah, highly would recommend that camera. If you already have an X100, I think it's worth upgrade. That's me. Or if you're shooting with a huge DSLR, you want something smaller, I highly recommend it. But I mean, if you already have a ton of cameras, don't fall into gas and just keep buying cameras. The second camera I was able to play with today was the new Leica M. Gary Tyson just picked one up and is one of the first ones in Hong Kong to get it. And it's pretty cool. Like they definitely updated a lot from the M9. I mean, the LCD is much bigger. They added a little ergonomic mini thumbs up thing in the back. I mean, of course, it has video and all these other knobs. And I was testing it. The first thing I noticed is, first of all, the shutter sounds much, much nicer than the M9. I mean, of course, it's something minor. Shutter dial on the top felt, same. One thing also that was kind of nice is, when you turn on the camera, and you switch it from continuous, single to continuous to self-timer, it's a lot more sticky. So, and it's sticky, it's like stickier to move, but it's also smoother. I can't quite describe it, which is actually a nice adjustment. Also, the LCD is much, much better than the M9. I mean, any guys who shoot M9s, the LCD sucks, but this new one is really, really good. And the new menu system and the arrow buttons, it's quite slick. It looks really nice. One of the things that I was kind of dubious about was live view. I tried it out, and it was pretty good. I mean, it had focus peaking and you know, looking at the images real time. It was pretty nice. I mean, I would never use it honestly, but uh, if you're into that, that's cool. And also he had the optical viewfinder, the electric view, no, not optical, the electric viewfinder, and he actually just got the Olympus one, and apparently it's the same one as the Leica one, except it's just way cheaper. So I was testing out the optical viewfinder on the electric viewfinder, and it's pretty fast, not super fast. It's quite big, nice image quality, and I was thinking, oh, this would actually be pretty nice if you're shooting with a very wide angle lens, like a 21mm or 24, where there's a lot of parallax issues. So I thought that'd be a good idea. But the problem about the electric viewfinder is after you take a photo, there's like a considerable lag. So you take a photo and you had to wait for like a full second, and then it's ready to take a photo, which was really annoying. In terms of you know, the ISO performance, I think it's much better than the M9. But still, even at ISO 1600, still a decent amount of grain. So, you know, I would say improved over the M9, but not that much. LCD once again is great. We shot a lot of photos. The colors look really good. I don't know if they're better than the M9s per se, because I can't really tell, but I mean, they looked good. Also, we shot some video on it, which is pretty funny, and the video looked really good, but I mean, I think it's one of those things that, sure, it has video, but are you ever going to really use it? I mean, I never do. So, I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool. Whether, you know, the big question everyone has is, you know, is it worth the upgrade from the M9? I mean, I would say, I mean, if I still had my M9 and I had the money, you know, probably not. I mean, if you have the money and you just want the absolute best, I mean, yeah, I think it's worth the upgrade. But even while I was shooting with the M9, I'd always shoot black and white, ISO 2500, and even post-processing Silver FX Pro to add more grain to it anyway. So I guess for like a guy like me who doesn't really care about image qualities per se, I don't think it's really worth the upgrade. But I mean, if you want the best ISO performance, video functions, the live view and stuff like that, yeah, I guess it's a good option. Other things I tested out was, or some of the guys tested out with the buffer speed. So one of the problems about the M9 is if you take a few shots, the buffer gets loaded, so you have to, after like 5 or 6 shots, you have to wait for it to process before you can take some more photos. The new M, the buffer was still pretty slow. I wasn't quite sure what card he was using. I think he was using a good SanDisk one, but it was still a little bit slow. And you know, Gary was testing out the camera. Apparently, he said it has a few bugs. Like, he has the newest firmware, but like sometimes he would try to take photos and it didn't take, and there'd be a lag in terms of seeing the images. But you know, it's still pretty new camera, so I'm sure Leica is gonna fix that, hopefully with the new firmware updates. So yeah, and I think, yeah, the new M, yeah, if you have the money, go for it. But if you have your M9, I'll just stick with that. Also, I mean, a camera that I kind of talked about in the past, the Monochrome. But you know, the thing about the Monochrome, yeah, incredibly good high ISO performance. And the files from everyone I've talked to say they have much more detail. And even when I was post-processing the raw files, there is a lot more detail. Whether it's justified the 8,000 US price tag, I don't know. I mean, they've had it for a long time, and just get like a film Leica or a film rangefinder and or film SLR and just toss in Tri-X and you've pretty much got a monochrome. But I mean, if you're not a hipster and you, once again, if you have the money and you're like black and whites, you know, I think it's cool. You should get it. Otherwise, you know, don't you know, sell your left kidney to buy it. Oh yeah, another unrelated thing that was quite interesting. So Gary was shooting with the Voigtlander 35 2.5 color scope bar lens. It's a really tiny lens. It's quite cheap. I mean, it's like this thin, and it costs only like 300 to 400 US. It's like one of the cheapest 35 lenses you could get. And apparently, he says you know, he's tested against the Leica 35 1.4 FLE, the newest, the one that costs like $5,000-6,000. Apparently he says like it's equally as sharp. And so, you know, I think that's awesome because, you know, once again, if you have a Leica camera or you have a film Leica trying to rangefinder or whatever, I mean, for a 35 2.5 lens, which is really small, compact, sharp, great image quality, I think it's a great deal. So who knows, maybe I'll sell my Summicron and I'll just downgrade to that, but nah, I'm probably not gonna sell it. My good friend Todd sold this or traded this for me, so I'm gonna hold on to it. And a lot of things that people ask me, you know, how's it shooting with film? How's it traveling with it? First of all, you know, and then the issues with X-rays. Whenever I go to the airport, I always just send it through the X-ray machines. Never had a problem in any single country I've been to. I've heard that issues people have had is if your ISO is above ISO 1600 natively, even if you're shooting ISO 400 and you're pushing to 1600, shouldn't be a problem. But if you have ISO 1600 film, 3200 film, putting it through X-ray machine, I heard, could damage it, or even putting it in the, you know, not even the carry-on, but when they check it in for you, it's a problem. For me, honestly, it really hasn't been an issue, so, you know, don't worry about having to get those X-ray proof bags or stuff like that. It should be totally fine. And, you know, yeah, shooting film has just been such a joy because, like, especially all these new cameras are coming out. I'm like, oh my god, if I had a film, if I still had my digital M9 or a digital camera, I'd be so stressed out because there's just so many choices and all these other stuff you want to get. So I'd have to say, shooting film has really given me a peace of mind that, you know, sure, it's more expensive shooting it, but at the end of the day, it's a lot less you know, stressful. Oh yeah, another thing that, you know, that's been cool. So I've been looking at a lot of Steve McCurry photos, and, you know, I just love his color slide film. So, you know, here in Hong Kong, color slide film is quite cheap. And, you know, shout out to my buddy Vishal, who you know, hooked up at, you know, Dotwell Camera, which is one of the local camera stores here, and I actually shot my first roll of color slides. It's what is this? This was, I think, Provia. I think this was Provia 100, and, you know, I shot it in a really nice light. And let's see if we could get. Let's see if you could see any of this. What did I do? See if you could see any of it. Let me see. Let me get my iPad. Got this cool iPad app which just displays a white background. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's quite bright, right? So let's see the photos. I'll show you. Try to show you guys some. As you can see, I was shooting when the light was really good. Really nice and saturated. Kind of like this frame here. This guy exhaling a cigarette. I wish those things were so distracting in the background. Oh yeah, one shot I actually quite like is this guy I was taking photos of, and, you know, he didn't mind that I was taking his photo. Took a bunch of shots in a row. Let's see, I took like, how do I put this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 8. I don't know exactly how many shots. The last one I think is quite nice. Yeah, great colors. The thing that is such a joy about slides is that you just kind of put it up or next to a light box and you could immediately see all the colors. That is the most awesome thing, and just the colors are just so nicely saturated. My buddy Jong took a portrait of me there. Took some photos at the pier. Yeah, I don't think I got any keepers, but just the whole experience of shooting slide film. And, you know, back in the States, it's freaking expensive to get a process, like $20 a roll. Here it's quite cheap, or more affordable, like around $10 US a roll to get developed, I think. And I got some scans too, so I'm gonna take a look at that. And also the great thing about slides is that it really forces you to slow down and think a lot about your shots before you shoot it, or else it just you just need to get the exposure bang on. But yeah, it looks like I was able to do a half decent job getting my exposures to look pretty good. And I have another roll of Velvia 100 that I'm gonna get developed soon, so or picking up soon. So I'm pretty excited about that, and you know, maybe if any scans look good, I'll upload them. In terms of traveling, I mean, I'm gonna be going. I'm gonna be here until next Monday, and I'm doing a workshop with Gary Tyson, an intro workshop here in Hong Kong. So if anyone's in Asia or Hong Kong who wants to join this weekend, we still got a few spots. I'll put a link to that below. And tomorrow I'm gonna go to Macau, which is kind of like the Las Vegas of Hong Kong. You know, I might play a little bit of Texas Hold'em. I'm just gonna leave my credit card at home. I might play a little bit and, you know, just do some touristy things there. One thing that's exciting is next week I'll actually be in Dubai for a week, talking at Visual Arabia, which is like a conference for you know, artists and visual creatives, and I'm also doing a workshop there. So if anyone in the area wants to come to the workshop, I think it'll be a really cool experience. Never did a workshop out there, and I think it'll be, you know, it'll be a very interesting environment and a new experience to have. In terms of traveling, you know, what to bring. I've been on the road for like a week and a half. The things I really recommend, so getting these athletic quick dry shirts. I mean, I've just kind of gotten to the point that I just have 2 of them now, and I got this at Uniqlo. It's called Airism, and it's just super thin, dries super quickly, and what I'm able to do is, you know, every night just wash it with shampoo or soap, wring it, and then let it dry. You know, 2 quick dry athletic boxers, 2 pairs of socks, and just wash them every night. It just reduces the amount of you know, laundry, which is really convenient. You know, just the only cameras I brought were, you know, my Leica MP, and this is the backup. Like, I used to carry around my M6 as a backup, but just too much weight, pain in the ass. I have my 11-inch MacBook Air, my Galaxy S3, my iPad. I really need to stop bringing this around because it's so freaking heavy. It's almost as heavy as the 11-inch MacBook Air I'm doing this video on. Oh yeah, these Bose headphone speakers, noise canceling, really expensive, about $300, but worth every penny when you're on a plane that's just droning. Just cuts out all the noise. You know, just could fit everything in my backpack, my water bottle, my film case, my camera bag. And that's pretty it. So it's super convenient. I'm just like a backpacker, just with one my backpack. Don't have to worry about check-ins or anything like that. So makes life a lot easier and more convenient. And if you ever need anything overseas, you could always buy it. So it's not really a big deal. But yeah, and you know, I'll be back home in the States in about, you know, like a week and a half. And this year, like I said in one of my posts about reflections about last year, I'm not going to be traveling so much internationally this year because I want to spend more time at home with my family, my girlfriend, and you know, traveling is amazing. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I think at the end of the day, you know, home is really where the heart is, and being able to sleep in, you know, your own bed and being around your loved ones is really the biggest blessing. So you know, if you're watching this video and you want to travel a lot, I mean, I highly encourage you to travel. It's an amazing experience, but also know that how blessed you are to, you know, be able to have stability in your life, because I think that's really important too. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll try to keep you updated with the rest of my travels. Got a lot of articles to share, also a lot of other featured photographers, interviews coming up. This week might be a little bit slow, but you know, I'll kind of get things out and churning. But yeah, once again, thanks for your patience. Thank you guys so much for your support. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Alright, thanks. Peace out. Oh yeah, last thing, special thanks to my buddy Sutirtha for, you know, shipping me these new glasses I got. I guess maybe my girlfriend says they make me look not like a kid anymore. So yeah. All right, that's it. All right, peace out.